Hi, good morning. It's James and Terry from Ace of Spades Custom RV in fabulous Las Vegas. We're here to talk about the truths about RV renovations. It's quite popular. When you go on YouTube, you do see a lot of videos, a lot of home handymen and people that think they're home handymen starting these projects, renovating their RVs, and what I'm seeing is it's kind of scary. So we want to talk about the truths, the realities, things to consider, the pros and cons. This is reality.
Okay, what kind of skill set do you need to know?
So as you'll hear me talk to death about this, there's actually 18 trades within our trade. There's flooring, there's cabinetry, there's accessories, there's electrical, both AC and DC, plumbing, propane, electronics, metal fabrication. It just goes on and on and on and on. It's insane to think about how much we need to know as an RV technician. So if you don't have a background to this, you're going to struggle. And there is a bit of information on YouTube, but it's not the greatest. Just be honest with you. And you're not going to learn everything from watching a few videos. And that's where people get burnt out. They get frustrated. They get behind the eight ball. They have a coach that did work, and then now it's taken apart, put back together haphazardly, and now it's not a usable piece anymore. And really, you're stuck and frustrated. So
it's not as fun.
A lot of people lose interest. It isn't fun taking these things. I've been doing this for 23 years, and I get into taking a coach apart, and you look at it and you go, oh, it's a disaster zone. I know how to put it back, but you still look, after 23 years, you look at it and you go, holy geez, Louise, like, look at this mess, right? Now, so, being an expert and, certified to do this, I can only imagine what it's like for a home handyman or someone that's trying their best. So, now, if you do start this project or start a renovation, you really need to know what you're doing. There's codes and regulations, especially with electrical and plumbing. And if these things aren't met, and especially propane as well, if these things aren't met, if they're not done in a safe way, potentially it's a hazardous situation. Your coach could burn down, propane can blow up if it's not done correctly. Propane is very safe. It's a safe system, and there are safeguards put in place. However, I've seen nightmares out there as well for propane installations, things that are done wrong.
Well, a lot of people want to do like cosmetic work and just decorating.
Sure.
So they might not really get into plumbing or taking the fridge out or anything like that. But sometimes people start painting their cupboards, and it ends up getting to be a little bit overwhelming, and then they end up needing help. So you kind of need a backup plan. So you have to kind of know what your plan B is, just in case.
Yeah. So if you're going to think that you're going to do a renovation, rip stuff apart, get over your head, and then take it to an RV dealership, they're not going to work on it. They don't do custom work. They are not interested in doing custom work. And then customizers like ourselves, we're not actually interested in having to, pick up where you left off. Typically, if on the units that I have taken over, I've actually had to rip out everything they did, all their flooring, all their cabinetry, all their everything, and just start from scratch, because it was just not a good base to work off. And that becomes even more discouraging. That's because you've already invested X amount of money to get to that stage, and it's very disheartening.
Plus, we're booked for 15 months in advance.
Yeah, so there's 3 of us customizers here locally in Las Vegas. One fella specializes in more vintage trailers, which is very popular for renovations. And we're all booked 15 months in advance, all
Or
year
2
round,
years, yeah.
all year round. Yeah, even longer than that. So that's your reality. All right, so you take apart your coach, and you could be waiting 2 years to get it back into snuff. So you got to have a backup plan. You will get discouraged. It is very discouraging. Yeah.
Another thing is, do you have the tools to do it and a place to do it properly?
Yeah, so a lot of neighbors are not going to like you making a whole bunch of noise on your driveway. There's a lot of townships and municipalities and cities that don't want your coach sitting in your driveway. So check those rules and regulations. Also, if you do store your RV at a storage facility, they're not going to want you to bring tools and start working on your RV at their storage facility.
You're not allowed.
That's a big no-no in their world. So, you gotta be realistic about this.
So if you have a garage, or you're fine, and you really need basic tools. I mean, when we customize, we have a lot of equipment, a lot of carpentry equipment, and a welder, and we have everything. But
18 trades worth.
Yeah,
so,
we have a lot of stuff. But
so if you're just yeah, I mean, to do it properly, you need a lot of.
You just need a lot of space.
A lot of stuff, yeah.
You also need some extra money just in case, because a lot of times we do an estimate, and then the people bring it in and they add, 5 or 10 more things that they want done. And they realize that once it's in, it's in for this period of time.
So you might as well go.
You might as well get what you want and
get it
done. So you do need a little bit of extra money for that, just in case. Because you start doing the kitchen cabinets, and then you want poles, and then you want, maybe the countertop needs to be done now.
Once you update one thing, everything else wants to be updated.
You get going on it, and then the valances. I mean, there's a lot of outdated valances and they're a lot of work. So just things like that, and you just have to just be aware of having some extra money, and you may have to purchase extra tools.
You also want to consider parts and materials. So, if you're renovating a house, then the big box hardware stores, the building centers, they're an okay place to source out stuff. In an RV, I mean, there's different materials and different electrical equipment, different plumbing fittings. So if you think you're just going to go to the home center and get everything, that's not the reality.
Do you have you need the energy and the time as well. So So some people lose interest. They get really excited. They get an RV, and then they're going to renovate it, and they're going to go on this trip or that trip. They got all planned. However,
now, just to give you just a small example, so if you take a Class A motorhome, and we are doing a floor replacement from the very front to the very rear, typically that takes us around 46 hours to do. Okay, and that's both of us, so working. So that's stripping out the old flooring, doing the floor prep, doing our template, putting in, cutting the vinyl, taking it in, gluing it in place, trimming it, doing the final trim, doing any moldings that are required, doing some work around the dash and so forth.
Yeah, we do.
Your transitions.
Yeah, we do.
Your slide outs.
We have a large flooring job coming up in the spring.
Yep.
And we're going to be documenting exactly how to do that. So you might want to subscribe to follow along how that job goes. And we'll explain exactly how we do our flooring. It's actually really quite interesting. But it is a lot of work.
So I mean, just the floor in itself. Now, speaking on that note, so I have actually had coaches where flooring has been done by a floor layer. Now, this just, it just gets my goat. So I have actually replaced a lot of flooring that's been put in by floor layers, a lot of carpeting jobs. Floor layers do not understand. They understand house, and they understand, a commercial building all day long. An RV is different. You have a slide out that's coming across the floor. You have different types of slide outs, you know, ones that are flush floor that ride up. You've got ones that ride above. You've got other slide out mechanisms. You've got slide outs that are heavy on one side. So when they come in, they tip as they come in, and they rock back and forth. And all these things have to be taken into consideration and dealt with when you're doing flooring. Now, carpet layers will come in and they'll usually do tack strips, and that's what they do in the house, and it works all day long. You do that in an RV, you're looking at 2 months later, that carpet's lifting. It just will not handle the vibration of it going down the road. We staple our carpets. So our carpeting is all stapled around the perimeter. It's stretched and stapled. So there is a million staples, and that's the way it's done. That it's, you know, I haven't had a carpeting job fail on me yet. And there, you know, that's, and what we do is we actually separate the pile with our fingers and then stick stapler down into the pile, into the webbing, and that's where we shoot our staple. So you think about that, you know, you're doing thousands of staples and, you know, separating, staple, you know, spread, staple, spread, staple, spread, staple. You know, and you're doing this every inch and a half apart. And that's just the way it's done. And that's the way it's done properly. So it's unfortunate because people have invested in the flooring costs. Typically, a full-size RV, you're looking at around $1,000, $1,200 for flooring. Just the flooring materials, no labor. And I have actually had to pull up and rip up everything that floor layers have put in because it wasn't done right. And then I have to go and tack on extra, you know, my material costs for the new flooring as well as my labor. So where the job was supposed to be X amount of money, now it's two times the price, if not more. And this becomes very frustrating for a coach owner. So, you know, this is the reality behind it. It's just frustrating to have to tell people that I'm sorry, you know, I have to rip out all this stuff because it was done wrong. And I have walked into coaches where people have done their own renovations, and you look out on the outside and you say, hey, that's not a bad looking coach. And they open the door and they're all proud as punch to show you what they did. And I have to do everything in my power, you know, my jaw just wants to hit the floor because it's just like, holy moly. You have now taken a lot of the value out of your coach. It's in you know, from the work that I do, seeing what a home handyman has done.
You have to really evaluate if it's really going to increase the value of your unit.
Yeah. So when we do our renovations, we actually always do it on the basis of improving the value of the coach. So if you take a 15-year-old coach, which is only going to get X amount of value, that's it all day long. It's just like the blue book value, and that's it. When we approach an RV, you know, if you invest $20,000, you might not get all that $20,000 back out of it, but you're probably going to get at least 75% of that value. So, but if you're interested in selling that coach 10 years down the line, down the road, after you've done your renovation, you know, you've got that value locked in there, and it's going to make that coach way more sellable than a coach that's not been renovated. So there are a lot of positive pros for renovating, and not everyone can just go run out and get a brand new RV off the RV lot. You know, that's quite the investment, and you know, a lot of work in itself.
Yeah. Another thing to consider is the time. I mean, if you work full time and you think you're going to do it on the evenings and weekends, right now, do you have all that spare time that you would want to spend going to your garage or a shop or whatever to get all of this done? So you have to just sort of evaluate, do you have the energy to do it? Because it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of time, and a lot of people say it takes way longer than they thought it was going to take.
And when it goes south on you and things don't turn out the way, then it becomes, you're spending even more energy, and
it's hard to be motivated. Yeah, it's difficult to be motivated and, you know, really stick it out for, you know, for months.
And back to the value, you can't, if it's done properly, you can add value. If it's not done properly, you devalue it. And it's even worse than what, you know, if it doesn't appeal to anyone or just looks unfinished, you know, no one's going to want to go in there. And, you know, so you really have to keep that in the back of your mind. All right.
Okay.
What other topics do we have?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. We're just going through our list here.
Yeah. No, that's pretty much it. If you need help, you need to have somebody lined up to help you if you need it.
We're not trying to discourage you from doing a renovation. It can be fun. It can be if you know how to do it. There's a lot of frustrating points as well. So, you know, it's hard to get education, especially from YouTube videos. There isn't really anyone out there doing full videos and so forth on renovations, just simply because it is such a incredibly vast amount of information that needs to be covered. And just
we found people will do one reno and does very well. They get lots of views. They'll make it look really adorable and it's really exciting. But like we're going to be documenting all of our renovations here, and we're going to tell you how to do it professionally. Yeah,
but there's also a lot of information that basically, you know, makes you more dangerous. Gives you just enough information to be dangerous about it. So we want everyone to be safe. We want, you know, your renovation to turn out and have
good quality
and be good quality. So
and enjoy it.
And so if you know these points that we covered, if they resonate with you, you know, then you know look out to your local in your state. You know, try and find customizers. We are out there. We are unicorns. We are few and far between, but we are out there, and we are here to help you, and we are happy to help you, and you know, help you achieve your final goal. But you know, these are the realities. These are the things you have to really seriously consider, think about. And anyway, we just want everyone to have a good time in their RV. So
now,
hope this helps.
Yeah, we're working on a very large build. We started it last year. What's it, a Kenworth?
Yeah, it's a Kenworth chassis and a custom box on the
giant truck.
The back. Yeah. So it's almost like a Super C. Looks a lot like an armored vehicle. That's what it's often mistaken for. Yeah. And,
so we actually had to extend the back 2 feet because it just wasn't long enough for everything that we were all going to put in it. And then
custom built slide out.
James had to cut a huge hole in the wall, and we did a custom built. It's actually works just beautifully.
So there was literally nothing in the coach. So we are doing a full blown custom. This is 100% right from the ground up, 100% custom.
And it's a very modern build as well. So we got high-end everything inside. We started it a couple days ago again. We just organized our shop for a little bit, and we're going to be doing videos every couple days, like every 2 videos a week on exactly what we're doing. Our next video that we're doing, we're going to go through the entire RV, and we're going to explain what we just did and what we're going to do. It's a little bit daunting, but it's a lot of work.
And we hope it helps you. You know,
exactly.
to one, inspire you, one, to educate, or two, to educate you.
Mostly educating, exactly.
Yeah, because that's the big thing that's going to put you behind. So, you know, just so, you know, if we're doing our little part to help educate you and either sway you or to do it or sway you not to do it, which is okay too. You know, this is what we're here for. So we'll wrap that up, and we hope you have a good day and keep RVing.
Yeah, and subscribe and like if you want to see our future builds, if you want to see it done by a professional the right way. And we have a full shop. We have our tools and equipment. We've been doing this for a really long time, and if you want to subscribe, that would be fabulous.
Yes.
Okay.
We'd appreciate that.
Have a good day.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
God, you got a lot of verbal diarrhea.
Sorry, babe.